Have you ever looked at those glossy red carpet photos and thought, wow, that's the picture of perfection? Well, today we're peeling back the shiny facade on what many believed was Hollywood's most enviable marriage. Because behind every gorgeous photo op and every charming late-night interview, a storm was brewing. One that would leave Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively looking far from the perfect couple we all assumed they were. It all started out like the ultimate fairy tale. Ryan Reynolds, the quick-witted actor with the golden smile, hailed as the perfect husband and family man. Blake Lively, a Hollywood darling, celebrated for her poise, elegance, and that effortless movie star glow. Together, they created an image so seamless that it practically screamed, "We're living the dream." For years, the public ate it up. Their social media banter was adorable. Their interviews were playful. Their pictures radiated that warm, fuzzy feeling like the final scene of a perfect rom-com. But as we all know, when things look too good on the surface, there's almost always something murky lurking beneath, and in their case, it was bigger than any tabloid's wildest guess. The first red flag started to wave when rumors appeared about a certain film project that Blake took on, one that would also star Justin Baldoni. She was cast to portray a complex character in a high-profile adaptation rumored to have intense, steamy scenes. At first, fans of the original material were thrilled. Blake Lively is perfect for this role. But behind the scenes, something far less wholesome was happening. A handful of insiders whispered about strange rewrites. They said Blake kept pushing for more private moments with Baldoni, even scenes that nobody had initially signed off on. Critics of the rumor rolled their eyes, thinking maybe she's just trying to flesh out her character. But the rumors didn't stop there. Before long, there were claims of flirtatious remarks. Blake joking, "Amazing, now try it pregnant," under one of Baldoni's workout posts. It might have sounded harmless on the surface, but the context made everything more complicated, especially considering Baldoni himself was married. Fans who noticed the comments started buzzing about how random and overfamiliar they seemed. Then came the bombshell, a full-blown legal storm. Suddenly, Blake accused Baldoni of harassing her, an explosive accusation that set the internet on fire. People gasped, outraged at the idea that one of the industry's most admired actresses might have been subjected to some messed-up behavior on set. But almost as quickly as they expressed their shock, another wave of revelations started to trickle out, and they weren't at all what you'd expect. Insiders swore that Baldoni had done nothing wrong. In fact, a few high-level executives hinted that Blake had been the one orchestrating all the questionable on-set behavior. Then someone leaked alleged proof that a crucial voicemail, which supposedly showed Baldoni apologizing to Blake, was doctored. Tech gurus pored over the metadata and confidently declared it had been chopped and stitched, completely fake. This detail turned the entire narrative on its head. Suddenly, the alleged victim was looking more like a mastermind, and Ryan Reynolds? Let's just say he did not react calmly once rumors began pointing back to his wife as the real instigator. But Ryan, being Ryan, went into full-on protect the family image mode. His agency, WME, dropped Baldoni from their roster almost overnight. No thorough investigation, no attempts to figure out if the allegations had substance, just a swift, brutal cut. That move got tongues wagging. Was Ryan so desperate to keep up the perfect family facade that he'd do anything to shield Blake from scrutiny? Legal experts began to speculate that if it turned out Baldoni was innocent all along, Ryan could be in serious hot water for pressuring his agency to terminate someone over false claims. With the tension sky high, another piece of the puzzle dropped: Ryan's unusual bromances. For years, people had joked about his playful, borderline romantic friendships with the likes of Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal. Sure, it was all fun and games online, fans ate it up, but once the rest of the scandal caught fire, these so-called bromances took on a new tone. Suddenly, critics started saying, why is a grown man with multiple kids always parading these over-the-top guy friendships like they're a marketing campaign? Some even went so far as to suggest that Ryan's marriage might have been more of a business arrangement or brand partnership, a strategic fairy tale romance to keep public curiosity away from his personal life. While none of this was confirmed, the whispers grew louder and louder, and every comedic bro joke Ryan had ever made started to look like a giant neon sign pointing straight to deeper secrets. Then, out of nowhere, Hugh Jackman, the same man whose public banter with Ryan had entertained the internet for years, announced he was divorcing his wife of nearly 3 decades. The timing was suspicious enough to raise eyebrows, but it got weirder. Hugh soon showed up on the set of the very film at the heart of the Baldoni Lively meltdown. He wasn't part of the cast or production, yet there he was, popping up in a promotional skit directed by Ryan, apparently mocking Baldoni's involvement. Critics called it petty, like they were openly ridiculing someone who might have been a victim of false accusations. And that's when the rumor machine went into overdrive, linking Jackman's sudden divorce with his suspicious cameo, fueling theories of a giant behind-the-scenes cover-up. Enter Candace Owens, the commentator who decided to weigh in on the fiasco. She claimed to have inside intel that could blow the roof off Ryan's carefully curated life. According to her, Reynolds was hiding far more than just minor insecurities. He was allegedly covering up every loose thread that might unravel his marketable image. And when Owens dropped the tidbit bit that Hugh Jackman would be deposed in the ongoing lawsuit fiasco, the internet exploded with speculation. Why would he be deposed unless he had intimate knowledge of what really happened on set and possibly beyond? The avalanche wasn't done picking up speed because another major star was silently entangled in the chaos, Taylor Swift. She'd always been close with both Ryan and Blake. They famously hung out together, even spending holidays side by side. But as time went on, it became clear Taylor was more deeply involved in the new film adaptation than most people realized. She'd helped with parts of the soundtrack, even nudged the casting of a younger actress rumored to play Blake's character in flashbacks. At first it sounded sweet, like a friend lending a helping hand. But when the scandal broke and everyone's reputations were on the line, guess who suddenly went radio silent? Yep, Taylor Swift. And guess who also started fighting to keep their group chat messages sealed away by the court? Blake's legal team. Coincidence? Hardly. If you believe the swirling theories that the texts likely contained more damning evidence, the kind that could land the entire circle of A-listers in a legal nightmare. Meanwhile, the alleged victim in all this, Justin Baldoni, was quietly sharing more details through his own countersuit. According to him, all those harassment claims were not only false, but maliciously concocted by Blake to cover her embarrassment when he basically turned her down. She allegedly made the first move, rewriting intimate scenes to get closer to him, sending borderline flirty messages, and openly hinting that she wanted more than just a professional relationship. When he stood his ground, reportedly telling her he wasn't even attracted to her, she did a complete 180, slapping him with legal threats and screaming to the world that she was the one harmed. It didn't end there. The Number Me Too movement, a powerful call for justice and accountability, became yet another chess piece in Blake's game. According to Baldoni's legal team, they claimed she weaponized the movement to paint herself as a victim and to destroy someone who dared reject her. For many observers, this was the tipping point. If true, it meant undermining a vital social movement just to save face. The fallout was harsh. Public sentiment went from outraged sympathy for Blake to stunned disbelief. Wait, was she the mastermind the whole time? As the dust settled, more behind-the-scenes footage started to leak, indicating that Blake had indeed been the aggressor, cozying up to Baldoni, pushing for more romantic angles, praising his physique in ways that left crew members feeling awkward on set. And where was Ryan amid all this? Fuming, apparently. At first he had turned savage, using his influence to cut Baldoni off from crucial Hollywood connections. But once the real receipts surfaced, it became clear that Ryan hadn't done his homework. He'd gone full nuclear on Baldoni's career, only to find out that the victim he was defending was the real culprit. That's when Ryan's entire brand started to crack. It wasn't a small chink in the armor. This was a chasm that threatened to swallow his carefully polished persona. Sponsors who once lined up to partner with him on everything from mobile phone companies to gin brands started distancing themselves. Nobody wanted to hitch their wagon to a scandal so messy that it involved potential evidence tampering and weaponized social movements. While Ryan's star image dimmed faster than a cheap light bulb, Blake's once spotless reputation took an even bigger hit. Critics and fans alike began calling out her hypocrisy. How do you go from championing women's empowerment to sabotaging someone with baseless accusations? How do you cry victim while allegedly creating fake voicemails? Overnight, the tabloids stopped praising her style and started picking apart every moment of her professional life. Directors grew wary of hiring her, studios worried about negative press, and the hush-hush deals that had once kept her in such a sparkling spotlight began to vanish. In an almost poetic twist, Justin Baldoni actually saw his career rebound from the brink of disaster. As the truth seemed to lean in his favor, Hollywood players took notice. Here's a guy who managed to navigate a scandal that could have ended him, and came out looking surprisingly dignified. Producers began reaching out, fans rallied in his defense, and his personal projects gained traction. It was a far cry from being blacklisted by Ryan Reynolds' powerful agency, and in the court of public opinion, many decided that Baldoni had been wronged, someone who refused to buckle under false allegations, no matter how big the names behind them. By the time we hit late 2024 and early 2025, everything had flipped upside down. Ryan Reynolds was no longer seen as that perfect family man. He started to look more like an image-obsessed control freak who'd do anything to keep his brand marriage intact, even if it meant destroying another person's career without a second thought. Blake Lively was no longer America's sweetheart, but rather a figure of suspicion who might have crossed every line to salvage her ego, and the theories about a beard marriage arrangement took on a life of their own, with folks dredging up every interview, every suspicious comment about his bromances, trying to connect the dots. Ryan's own words about being married to Hugh Jackman in a joking sense suddenly didn't look so funny anymore. But if that wasn't enough, the next wave of shock came from the depositions in the ongoing lawsuit. Hugh Jackman was officially called to testify. Taylor Swift's rumored text with Blake and Ryan might end up dissected by lawyers, and as if straight out of a twisted Hollywood script, the public was waiting on the edge of its seat for any new scrap of information that could confirm or deny the swirling allegations. Multiple commentators started to question the entire foundation of Ryan and Blake's relationship. Was any of it real, or was the entire thing carefully staged from the get-go? And we can't can't forget the big question. If Blake was able to fabricate evidence against Baldoni, what else might she have faked over the years? If Ryan was truly clueless, then how many illusions in their married life had he fallen for? Or was he complicit all along, building a manufactured romance that suited them both professionally? The deeper you dig, the more it feels like none of these people ever intended to be truly transparent. Each revelation only made the story more complicated, adding more confusion about who lied, who manipulated, and who was simply caught in the crossfire. Now you might be wondering, with so much damage done, is there any chance of a comeback for the Reynolds-Lively duo? Well, Hollywood loves a redemption story, but it's hard to redeem yourself when the public has so thoroughly seen behind the curtain. Ryan might reappear, sarcastic grin intact, trying to lighten the mood with a witty commercial or a cameo in the next big superhero movie. Blake might eventually surface with a brand new philanthropic initiative, attempting to rinse away the scandal. But the core question remains. Once people see the cracks, can the golden couple ever be golden again? As for Baldoni, he remains ironically the most unscathed by the swirling rumors, despite being the initial target of potentially career-ending allegations. If the rumors of fraudulent evidence, tampered voicemails, and manipulated Me Too claims hold water, then he has every reason to feel vindicated, and for many, that's the real moral of this twisted Hollywood saga. Sometimes the underdog emerges stronger when they refuse to bow to bullying from big industry names. So here we are, the ultimate Hollywood cautionary tale. A marriage once sold as a dream turned into a labyrinth of suspicious entanglements, questionable friendships, potential hidden motives, and catastrophic PR disasters. Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively didn't just lose each other's trust in the process, assuming there was genuine trust to begin with. They lost the faith of their fans, the confidence of sponsors, and the pristine brand they'd spent years cultivating. At the end of the day, it's a reminder that celebrity power couples aren't immune to the domino effect of secrets. No matter how carefully they curate their Instagram posts, no matter how many times they grin for the cameras, reality has a way of showing up with a sledgehammer. For Blake and Ryan, it hit harder and louder than anyone might have predicted, and it just might go down in Hollywood history as one of the most spectacular brand implosions we've ever seen. The final takeaway: don't let the glitz and glamour fool you. Behind the scenes, it can be downright ruthless. Sometimes, the more picturesque the relationship appears, the more explosive the hidden truths turn out to be. When you build a life on carefully stacked half-truths and illusions, all it takes is one jolt, one refusal, one piece of leaked evidence to knock the whole tower down. And in the case of Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, that tower didn't just topple, it crashed and burned for the world to see, leaving a wake of legal battles, shattered reputations, and a cautionary lesson for anyone still believing that Hollywood's perfect couples are ever as flawless as they seem. Let this be a reminder. The next time you see a Hollywood duo plastered across your newsfeed wearing coordinated outfits and cracking jokes that seem oh so genuine, be sure to take a moment and wonder, what's really going on beneath the surface? Because if this saga has proven anything, it's that fairy tales can turn into nightmares at the drop of a single scandalous text, and that sometimes the most jaw-dropping scripts aren't in theaters. They're playing out in real life, under the blinding lights of celebrity culture, just waiting for that final, catastrophic reveal.